Hey guys, what's up? It's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So, before we get into this video, if you don't mind, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell. That way you will be made aware of every time I upload a video. Okay, and don't forget that tonight we'll start at 7:15 tonight. So tonight at 7 p.m., 7:15 Central Standard Time, we will go live for our Medication Assisted Recovery Anonymous meeting. That's MARA, okay? MARA is a fellowship that was created for people that are using maintenance medication in their recovery. And because there was a lack of support, and so it's been around for about 2 years. And if you guys are interested in hanging out with us tonight, we're actually going to have a guest speaker on. She is in recovery and she's also utilizing maintenance medication. So I figured her story would go perfect for our meeting tonight. So her name is Kaylee, and I hope you guys will come hang out with us and, you know, hear her story. And if you guys are struggling or you want to share anything, you can always comment in the chat and just chit chat back and forth. And it's always a good time. So I think you'll really enjoy it. We're going to come on at 7, but we'll probably wait like 10 minutes till everybody gets here and then we'll start her story, okay? All right, so next line of business. I have been reading a couple comments today because I always go through and try to heart everybody's comments and respond back if I can. And so I saw some comments today about chronic pain patients and how it's not fair that a lot of people that are struggling with pain get labeled as drug addicts or drug seeking. And so I thought this would be a perfect chance for me to talk about chronic pain patients and dependency and how there is a difference between dependency and addiction. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. First and foremost, let me explain to you how addiction works and how dependency works. So when you have an addiction, you are doing something even though you're experiencing negative consequences, okay? Such as you keep on using pills or doing dope, meth, crack, cocaine, pills, benzos, opiates, whatever it is, alcohol, and you are doing it even though you are losing your jobs. You are doing it even though you are selling your prescription to get heroin. You are doing it even though you got pulled over and got a DWI. That's what the difference between, you know, addiction is whenever you're doing something even though you're getting all these negative consequences, right? It's the obsession too. It's the obsession of the mind. It's the compulsion to keep using that substance even though bad crap is happening, even though you're losing your home and your children are getting taken away or you're prostituting your body, okay? Dependency is when you are on a medication and your body becomes physically dependent on it, but you are not abusing the medication and you're not having any negative consequences from that use. It's actually benefiting you and bettering your quality of life. That's the difference between addiction and dependence, okay? Now, with the opioid epidemic and everything that's been going on, a lot of chronic pain patients have found themselves in the position where their doctors are cutting them off of their medications because they're afraid to prescribe them opiates, okay? And so they cut these people off their medications, and then what happens is a dependency, a once dependency can turn into an addiction, because once that person that was dependent is no longer able to obtain an opiate to keep them from going into withdrawal, then some people turn to drugs, such as heroin. Not all people do that though. So that's where like somebody who is dependent can shift into addiction, when it's almost like they're pushed over the edge and then they end up going out. In all honesty, I think people that do that usually already have the underlying issue of addiction. Now, I can't say that with certain about every single person, because there are some people that just get so desperate, you guys. You also have to understand, never having an addiction, never being in trouble, never going to jail, never doing anything like that, and then all of a sudden you go to see your doctor and you've got bad pain, and then your doctor tells you, I can't prescribe you this medication anymore. Imagine being so afraid. Imagine having to go through withdrawal and be cut off completely when you've been actually found something that's worked for you for so long. So people's backs are put up against the wall. I've had a couple of you guys comment because you watch my channel and you are chronic pain patients, and you're here to watch the channel because you're learning about addiction and you want to make sure that you don't ever go down that route. You know, addiction is about behaviors and the compulsion to use. If you are dependent on an opiate and your doctor just cuts you off out of nowhere, if that ever happens to you, the best thing I would suggest to do is to go to a pain management clinic and let them know, hey, I've been on this medication for this long. I've never had any issues. I've never sold my medication. I've never, taken it addictively. I've always taken it as prescribed, but I am dependent on this medication, and just be 100% transparent about that. That's the best thing you can do if you're running into a situation where you have a doctor that's not willing to prescribe you that pain medicine anymore. But there is a difference. And see, that's what happens a lot of times with all of us mixing together over here. There's some people that never had the disease of addiction. They just were dependent upon their pain medications. Okay, so I can't diagnose you and tell you whether or not you have the disease of addiction. Only you can do that. And so it really does, it comes down to the behaviors, the compulsion, and whether or not you would go into any length to get that dope, to get that pill, to get that weed, that alcohol, whatever it was. You could have an addiction to anything. It could be food, sex, gambling, okay? But with opiates and benzos, the body does become dependent after prolonged use. So there are many people who do not have addictions and are dependent upon medications because they've been taking those medications for a long time. What happens when one day that person wants to get off? This is what's happening. Doctors are not educating their patients and letting them know this is a medication that you will become dependent on. When you want to get off of it, you will not be able to just jump off cold turkey. And that is creating a problem because there are people out there who are unaware that the medications that they're on are causing physical dependence. So that's why it's important for us to educate ourselves. And I know that's some bullshit. You should be able to go to the doctor and the doctor should let you know everything, right? But we have to take responsibility for ourselves and protect ourselves. So, be very careful if you're somebody who struggles with pain and you're going to see your doctor and they're going to put you on a medication. You need to ask all the questions. You need to ask them if you can get addicted to it or dependent. It might open up an underlying addiction that you had already. Here's the thing, like we were talking about last night, the disease of addiction is like an allergy that you didn't know you had, like being allergic to peanuts and not knowing it, eating a peanut and then breaking out in hives or your throat swelling up. That's exactly how it is with addiction. You might never know that you have an addiction until you take that substance into your body. So the best bet is to not take those kind of substances unless you absolutely have to. And if you have to, you need to get educated to the fullest extent on what medications you're taking. I do know that there are people out there that are on benzos and opiates that are not addicts. They take their medication as it's prescribed. They're very responsible. They have full-time jobs. They've never, diverted their medication. They've never, ran out of it early. They are on top of it. And those people just physically are dependent. That's it. They're not drug addicts. And so there is a huge, huge difference. I will link some videos I made about this before about addiction and dependence, but I just wanted to get it out there because I know some of you guys were commenting. I saw Lakiva had commented and I think John had commented, and I just want you guys to know, like, I understand if you are on a chronic pain patient and you're just dependent on your medication, yes, there is a difference. And I don't think that, you should have to call yourself a drug addict. You are dependent. And like I said, when you're addicted, when you're a drug addict, those behaviors and those negative consequences come into play. And that compulsion to keep on using no matter what the cost, no matter what the consequence. You would go to the ends of the earth, jump off a cliff, and throw yourself in front of a moving train just to get your pills. That's addiction. All right, I hope that helped clear some things up, and I love you guys. I hope you'll join us tonight at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for our Mara meeting and for Kaylee's story. All right, y'all.